Seconds
So
remaining.
Monkey King was one of the few heroes that was actually untouched through the patch. I think overall for Atlantis, there's some combos that they can look to play with. Of course, Mars and Monkeys are very, very good combo with the Arena and Wukongs through the later stages. And I like it as well just because Execration, they always put a lot of emphasis on flexing this DK and giving it to Tino on the off lane. So now having the threat of laning into the Monkey King might deter Execration from giving him that hero. So maybe they could consider going for like a double range because you know Atlantis are playing a double melee.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe even something that's got. I'm just trying to think, like any kind of silencing offlaners.
Dire team ban.
Not a Night Stalker. Wraith King. This is what I was talking about there, right? Monkey King and the Wraith King. I know Wraith King's bad into Monkey just because if you die once, you just Wukongs and you're going to die again. But they are both of those laners that have some kind of sustain on their own, right? Monkey King with the Jingu Mastery,
10
Wraith
seconds
King
remaining.
with the, God, what's it even called? Vampiric Aura, I think, just
5
for that
seconds
inherent
remaining.
lifesteal. Same sort of thing with the Dragon Knight, right? You're not going to have these supports ferrying out salves to constantly pump into you, so you just need to make yourself much more sustainable.
Radiant team
I-
ban.
The Wraith King can go back and forth, I think, with at least the lineup that Atlantis has. I think it's very good versus the Mars. Similar reasons why we spoke about with the Chaos Knight, just for your sustain. So, and also, like, you want to blow a hero up inside the arena, and then Wraith King, well, he's got reincarnation. So all of a sudden, you used a bunch of abilities,
10
he
seconds
respawns, and you're going to feel very happy about that. Also, you were kind of needing some hero
5
to be able to take
seconds remaining.
objectives. You Pugna can, DK can, but now having another hero really just for that Roshan can help unlock the map and really give them 2 lives now to play with, which is going to be very difficult for Atlantis to deal with. But it's another
Dire team
pseudo setup for Mirana. Like Wraith Kings probably will have Blink at some stage, or Blink in, Arrow. I don't hate the pick you mentioned though against the Monkey King. It's probably a little bit more, I'd say definitely like 70-30 Monkey favored in regards to carry matchup.
Yep, I would agree with that.
10
Just trying to think
seconds
what
remaining.
Atlantis might be choosing to go for here with their last hero. It's going to be a mid,
5
and
seconds
could
remaining.
potentially be up against that Dragon Knight for all of the things that we were mentioning about before. Dragon Knight Mirana into an Abaddon, nowhere near as effective as a lot of these other position 5 supports. And then again, Monkey King
Radiant
against
team
a
ban.
DK, very favorable. So if they choose to run it mid, wouldn't surprise me at all. Although Atlantis could just flex the Monkey King to be mid as well. So we'll see what
Dire
route they
team-
choose to go down, especially considering they chose to get rid of the Razor themselves, so they might choose to have that Monkey for the mid lane. Let's see what they reveal with their last overall pick here. They do need a little bit more tower push. That's the
Yep.
thing that I'm a
Radiant
little
team
worried
pick.
about.
Ember Spirit.
Doesn't exactly provide that, but gives them a bit more lockdown, nice ways to be able to clear out the Wraith King skeletons as well. Decent catch for the Mirana. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either, but now I feel like you are very comfortable putting the Dragon Knight mid and
seconds
going
remaining.
for another hero for Tino, because we've seen DK matches up very
5
well versus the
seconds
Ember in the mid
remaining.
lane. You're gonna have a great time. You're a big damage advantage, so I would really like Execration to give Bob the Dragon Knight and now look for Tino's hero.
Do they OD? Can you OD here now?
Oh, it's a very good OD game. It's a very, very good OD game. I'm all
I
for it.
really wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Mirana as
I-
well. That's something we saw kind of boom. Like it was OD Conquer for some time. Oh, it looks good.
I wouldn't hate to see it. I would love to. Come on, Execration. 3 seconds left. Do it. Ah.
You may now select your heroes.
It's an alright Beastmaster game. The Monkey King is capable of dealing with the boars, of course. But I mean, it's going to enable the Wraith King quite heavily. That's something that the OD wouldn't necessarily have done, so maybe they're just looking to put a little bit more emphasis onto Palos here with being able to carry the game. Not the greatest attack speed to begin with, honestly on the DK as well, so Beastmaster, this is really same style of Dota, but I'm just keen to see how these teams are going to play the lane. I've only played a couple of unranked games, just playing some Omni Knight, some Clockwork, and it was a little bit clowny, to be honest. So I haven't really got that true experience of what this pro level Dota is going to be like. And
10
these two
seconds
teams are hopefully going to
remaining.
show it to us.
I think his Beastmaster last pick really perfectly sets up the draft for Execration. The matchup versus the Monkey King is pretty solid through a lot of the game. Of course, you have ways to be able to cut down the trees, which is really nice. BKB piece in control. Monkey King does not want to be kited. But importantly, just the lane. It's actually pretty decent, even though Beastmaster is a melee hero. You can play off your boars, which with the attack slow and movement speed slow makes it difficult for Monkey King to be able to stack up the Jingu. And once you kind of when Tino gets 3 points in the boars, I feel like that's going to be when he should feel pretty comfortable in that lane matchup. And overall, what it provides in the game as well, now they have 2 ways to be able to grant vision, the Moonlight Shadow and also the Hawk. So it's going to be very difficult for Atlantis to get the proper team fight, get that proper setup. And you're also buffing up the Wraith King as well. So I feel like really the toolkit that the Beastmaster provides is perfect for Execration. I really like this last pick. I really like their draft.
I want to see Shanks go into a Blightstone on his Mirana. I think they're just going to have absolutely nothing opposing him plinking away at the enemy team, and it's going to buff up the boars as well. So I think that'll be a really nice pickup if he chooses to go down that route. Both teams are really, I don't want to say heavily oriented towards pickoff, but you can see the avenues, of course, that they're both going to take it. So I'm probably going to favor Execration just because of the things that you mentioned with regards to the Beastmaster. Good synergy, of course, with the other 2 cores. Pretty good lane. The thing is, though, Execration, I just feel like they're a more solid team overall. You know, they're... what's the right word? Tested, I suppose. They've been put into these tough situations before, and yes, they went down from Division 1, but they were taking games in series against the likes of Boom, so I think it'd be pretty silly to count them out.
And we have seen some... do we want to say difficulties? I mean, we did see them play... Of course, my camera is doing weird things. We saw Execration in the grand finals, and they did kind of struggle versus Polaris. Of course, that was their most recent series. So I'm intrigued to see how they're able to adapt to that overall. What is my...
That's Polaris, though. They're a different one, too. Yeah, mine was having issues before. I
need a
clicked on
restart. I don't know. I can't move my camera.
Well,
what, WS? Oh, that's a decent boundless strike. Might give the opportunity for the Mars to be able to reset, but one more right click. Vincenzo is able to find our first blood, and Execration off to a good start.
I think maybe if you middle mouse and drag to move the camera.
The moment, but
as opposed to edge pen. Good old new patches, just everything doesn't break at all. At least we got into the lobby this time. Remember the last one where we weren't able to do, I think it was T1 against someone because the patch just ruined things, lobbies completely?
For a second, I thought that was going to happen as well because we had some lobby issues, people not connecting. Okay, I can't... Yeah, all right, what? I don't know. Yep, new patch stuff.
I mean, I'm able to move around again with edge pen. It just
I can't. I don't.
Randomly.
I use my WASD on assisted camera. You're. Yeah, you got some different stuff. We'll make it work. Well, already
maybe by Mango Rose up on the top side. He actually went into the mischief in front of his range creep as Shanks was trying to arrow it, so didn't end up taking any of the damage and was able to get the deny off onto that as well. So nice individual skill coming out from the Atlantis carry so far.
What's one lane you're really looking at to put a lot of attention on? Do you feel like there's, out of all 3 lanes,
it's probably top.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to see what they're able to do against this against Tino. Like, he's gone the first point into the inner beast, so I guess really wanting to enable Shanks to go that plinking style that I was saying before, just constant arrows coming into Ponyo, forcing him to use that Mango, run out of regen super early on, but he tried to go for the block again with the mischief, but wasn't able to land it. But he hasn't actually gone this Blightstone style that I was really hoping for, so it's going to take a little bit longer to be able to burn through a lot of that regen. My net worth graph is also a little bit changed. If it's the same for you, or the last hit graph, it was ordering it by team entirely as opposed to just top to bottom.
You have been denied.
Mine's looking alright at the moment. This camera is definitely going to prove to be an issue through fights, so we will do what we can. All right, Execration off to a good start. 1,000 net worth lead, nothing crazy. Feel like one thing we definitely mentioned is that probably all 3 lanes should be slightly favored to them, but it's going to help come down to a lot of the rotations coming out shortly. Probably 2.5 minutes, we might see maybe the support start to move around.
Get a bit caught up there?
Maybe. I would say it's probably a little bit more important for Wonderboy to get his supports rotating towards the lane, like we've been saying before. Just being able to self-sustain in lane is so important, and Dragon Knight, of course, has that Dragon Blood capability of doing so. He's got the right-click advantage over the Ember Spirit once he starts building into these braces, and doesn't really need the power runes quite as much, so I'm really keen to see when Hoodwink looks to make that rotation down to the lane.
Yeah, still nah.
Bob, though, man, look at this, 15-14 on the Dragon Knight. And we were mentioning this throughout the draft. The DK, it's a very good matchup versus the Ember Spirit. It's a hero that goes for purely stats. So the braces and Soul Ring really going to help out with your damage compared to the Ember Spirit. You kind of need that bottle coming out, and your last hit's really going to be coming off the back of the slight. So I imagine this matchup's not going to get too much easier for Wonderboy.
Yeah, certainly not. That's why it is so important for Ayad to make that rotation through to the mid lane, try and help with the water runes, but just have a look at Vincenzo. He's placing himself around where any kind of movements are more likely to happen. So A, he's able to make sure the bounty rune stays secured, and then prevent any kind of movement coming through from that position 4. So it still probably will allow Wonderboy to get one of the water runes, but it's not going to secure both of them for Atlantis.
Bottom lane. A little bit of damage onto Vincenzo. Pel's gonna offer some assistance. They're actually turning it back onto the Hoodwink. They exchange deaths. Mars and Wraith Kings. At least the cores are able to soak up some of the experience down bottom.
Up top, Tino, he hit onto his level 3, and he's just been using the boars to...
Courier.
Pretty good.
Dire's courier has been killed.
That vision doesn't have the sentry either on Ponyo, so this Cliff Ward has just remained the entire time. He might be able to get a boar here. Yeah, Mango Bros cleans it up, so he's got a little bit of an experienced lead on the Monkey King against the Beastmaster, but like you were saying during the draft, if he gets up to that level 5, it just becomes that much more difficult because the boar is going to have 600 HP, it's going to be dealing 50 damage a hit.
Mid lane,
Slow as
Wonderboy's
well.
going to be in trouble. Dragon Tail sets up for the arrow. The TP is going to come through from the Abaddon, but it will be too slow. Maybe, maybe not. Wonderboy, one more right click will still go down. And now Bob, he's chasing back Ponyo. Dragon Tail up in a second. They'll have the arrow to be able to follow up as well as the Abaddon TP'd in. Tried to offer the assistance, but in the end, feeds over a double to Bob.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
While this Siege Creep is still here as well, with Bob half the duration left on the Elder Dragon form, so you can see rotation immediately coming back from the Ember Spirit, making sure to spam this one out as much as possible. But Bob, like we've been saying, he's got those 2 points in the Dragon Blood. He's going to be able to tank up a few more of those tower hits, just allow the Siege Creep to really do the work. So nice early game coming through from Execration so far.
So while this was going down though, Palos, he was killed off. It was the WS Mars that secured the kill. So it's not like they didn't get nothing across the map from Atlantis.
He's still doing just fine, though. Going into... Not sure if he's going to fully finish up the armlet first. Obviously, he's got the phase boots queued up right now and just goes the Gloves of Haste because of how effective it is at being able to get those right clicks in.
Want to see what we can
Is he
do
gonna
around
take a little bit of damage here on Palos? Actually going to be in trouble. That God's Rebuke doing more than I expected. US, though, will be held back thanks to the Wraith Fire Blast. Net worth lead though continuing to grow for Execration. All the lanes looking solid. The one lane for Atlantis is this Monkey King, second in net worth at the moment. Does have to be cautious of how he's playing through the trees, and it does even look like Mango Rose has his Battle Fury queued up, so looking to scale as much as possible on the Monkey King.
Tower is under attack.
I like that from him. I mean, you just want to make sure that you're capable of man fighting against the Wraith King when it comes late. and it's going to give you the best potential of being able to farm. Again, just more stuff that enables you to stay out on the map as much as possible. It's always going to be a really good tool because we know how effective a Monkey King is at being able to quickly be part of a lot of these team fights
Dire's
just through the
top
use of the
tower
tree
is
dance.
under attack.
Another movement mid though. Bob with the Nether Ward behind him and the Elder Dragon form popped. They should be able to secure this tower before the 8-minute mark. That's a big win coming through from Execration.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Looking to maybe try and get the kill here onto Ponyo. Of course, if he's the one that gets gone on prior to his level 6,
lane.
he doesn't have a way
Monkey
to break
King's
out
gonna
of
be in
it.
trouble. Roar's out. Tino. Does he have the Centaur Conqueror stun? He does be able to cancel the TP, so Mango Rose gonna end up going down. Back towards mid though. They do exchange kills. Bob's gonna be killed off. They will run into Ayad. One more right click. Shink's gonna try and close the distance with the leap. He'll secure it in the end, but Wonder Boy, this is some much needed golden experience for the Ember Spirits. Unfortunate that he won't be able to play with the haste. Shanks, what's going on? Just some friendly right clicks?
Using his haste.
Under attack.
Yeah, what can you do?
Dire's structures are fortified.
I'm kind of thinking as well with the Beastmaster, of course, he's able to get that solo kill up there, but will he even go into the Wraith Pack this game? Obviously, he's got the Vladimir's Offering queued up already, but we're not certain if it's going to be that build into the Wraith Pact itself, or if it's just going to be the Helm of the Overlord, the old style of Beastmaster.
Dire's
Really
top
does
tower
feel like
is
this
under attack.
Execration draft is one that can just ball up at around the 15 or so minute mark and look to continuously push on forward with the Elder Dragon form, with the
top
Wraith King
tower
super
has fallen.
sustainable, with the Pugna and the
Radiant's
Nether
bottom
Ward.
tower is under
Just this
attack.
irresistible force that I'm not sure Atlantis is going to be able to deal with.
Is this then maybe the Monkey King has to change his item build? Because the Battle Fury, like, it's going to take quite some time for the Monkey King really to be online.
Dire's top
Yeah,
tower
for
is
sure.
under
I mean,
attack.
you might need to bank on Execration diving a little bit too deep, which they've been known to do at times. So maybe just feeling like, okay, we really need to prioritize Wonder Boy's farm for now, so he gets that early-ish Maelstrom, and he's able to repel a lot of these early movements as much as possible. But we've already had a tier 2 glyph used, so I'm sure that they're not going to be looking to put any priority onto this bottom lane. It just means that next time the Elder Dragon form is up, they're going to have, what, 3.5 minutes to be able to take probably 2 tier 2 towers if they have the map control to be able to do so. Even going to try something up on this top side, but the creeps actually aggro in onto him. Bob, with the right clicks onto Wonder Boy, make sure that the arrow doesn't actually connect onto him.
Look in the vision game from Execration. Already something we were mentioning is going to be in their
Radiant's
favor.
bottom tower is under
Off the
attack.
back of the ball, off the back of the Hawks and the Moonlight Shadow to be able to set up the fights, but their wards deep inside Dire's territory is going to definitely prove to be an issue. You got one kind of behind the tier 2 tower top. You've also got one at the stairs entering the top jungle, so all eyes on Atlantis, and if they're able to deal with this.
Now, I know you asked me what my favorite part of the new patch was, and I said it was the avoid list increase, but what about you? What's your most favorite part of this potential for the new meta?
I think we might have a bit of a change to spell damage being something that people are going to put a lot of emphasis on, with the BKB cooldown getting pushed up to 90 seconds. I think Bloodstone was a really big buff, so you know, there were some heroes like the Lena magic build I think was buffed up a decent amount. We could see that into like a Bloodstone. I think Lesh got buffed up, and that hero was already really strong, and down that, I mean, we saw one game in particular, I think last tour with the Bloodstone. Lesh was like 100 health, all of a sudden Bloodstone popped and instantly back up to 4. So yeah, I'm just intrigued to see people put a lot of emphasis on this maybe spell damage route instead.
I really want to see the Revenant's Brooch as well. I think it's an incredibly strong item now, especially considering you don't need to worry about the potential of doing 0 damage. Like previously, if you pop the BKB, you would expend the charges and do 0 damage. But now, it just saves them up. Makes it a lot easier to use, lower cooldown. I really think it's a really useful item to have. But this is what we were talking about, that top side. They have that 3.5 minute window, still 2.5 minutes to do it, and they've barely used any of the Elder Dragon forms, so it's going to be very important for Mango Rose to quickly push this lane out, which he does, but he's going to need to get out of there because that's exactly where Execration want to be. They want to be pushing this mid lane. Oh, they might even be able to use this double damage to perhaps converge into the Roche Pit. especially considering you've got the Vlad's offering, and just as I say that, you've got Tino queuing up the Helm of the Overlord. So it's really this aura style that Execration are going for here. And as for right now, it's not really being punished all that hard.
I think for Dire, really, for them, they're waiting for this Mars Blink to unlock the liner. They're having difficulties even be able to enter the fight. So Mars Blink,
Dire's middle tower is
still the
under
combo
attack.
afterwards. It's going to be pretty lackluster. Damage is going to start to come through once this Maelstrom is completed. On the Ember Spirit, needs only a couple more 100 gold for that. You've got the Sharpshooter as well, which we haven't seen, combined with just yet with the Mars, but Monkey King's still going to take quite some time for the Wukongs really to have any synergy with the arena.
And poor Wonder Boy, he already got stomped in lane in terms of the last hits, just because you're up against a Dragon Knight. It happens, but now, even when he's so close to that Maelstrom, he just wants to go into the lane, secure a few creeps, and Bob has a double damage, just denying every single creep in front of his face. So, still 300 gold away from that Maelstrom. You can see he's suffering on the net worth charts, and let's see if he's able to recover it somewhat with the next wave of creeps coming through. But in the meantime, we've got a smoke coming through here with Shanks and Bob, and that freshly picked up Blink Dagger.
They're going to smoke themselves. WS, Blink completed. Be cautious though, because Radiant, they are grouped up. Smoke's going to pop, but Bob's not an easy target.
Shadows take us.
They might move for Palos instead, but he also is not really the person you want to bring down to start, especially with the reincarnation. So Atlantis, they're going to back off, but Execration, cover the Moonlight Shadow, trying to see if they can catch out anyone.
So close to that Maelstrom, man. He really wants it.
Dire's middle
Previously,
tower is under
you had
attack.
WS hitting the creep wave, and I'm sure Wonder Boy was saying to him, please do not touch this. I'm so close, and my effectiveness skyrockets if I've just got that capable.
Regeneration.
I mean, well, Palos is just getting a ridiculous amount of farm on the Wraith King. We saw that was, that one death in the lane. Was farming well, but nothing crazy. Wasn't like Tino or Bob, but he is just freely farming across the map. Armlet working on the Desolator as the next item, second in the net worth, and he has been untouched for the past couple of minutes or so. Mid lane,
Radiant's
making
bottom
an
tower
attempt
is
on
under
WS,
attack.
maybe just trying to force some reactions.
You also have the Battle Fury now coming out to Mango Rose, so he's going to look to accelerate his farm a little bit. He's got past the hardest part of the game for him, for sure. And they do have the Glyph back available again, so this next movement coming through from Execration, really nice movement coming through from Ponyo, right? Completely cutting the wave, making sure that they
Radiant's
don't have that
bottom tower
capability
is
to
under
make use of
attack.
this Elder Dragon form. They're going to try and look for a kill, but with Atlantis' map movement, it looks like they're going to be able to avoid the majority of this early aggression. That's exactly what you want, right? You want to make use of the Maelstrom, you want to make use of the Battle Fury. Just can't be getting picked off, so Ponyo putting himself in a much more risky position to make sure that if anyone's going to die, it's going to be him.
I believe those continuing to grow. Execration, they got full duration. Oh, they position themselves on the Remnant location. Emma's gonna
Nicely
move back
done.
into the Dragon Tail and the Arrow, but Wonder Boy just be able to survive on a slither of health. That was really cool though from Execration, and Palos posturing aggressively to force that Remnant out, and then the Murano and DK were waiting to spring their trap.
Yeah, cute attempt for sure, but the thing is, with this lineup, you're always going to be under some form of pressure. Even without the Elder Dragon form, you could probably make an play aggressively, but actually Execration make the better play. They say, all right, we got this DK ulti, 20, 25 seconds on the cooldown. We've got our Ancient Black Dragon. We've got Palos, who's plenty farmed with his Desolator. We just need to take Roshan by the time we've got it. All ultimates available. Get this lane pushed in. You can see Bob, he's escorting this wave a lot more this time around, so they're not going to easily be able to get rid of it. And now when they push into the tier 2 tower, well, actually, they're
Mango
going to
Rose.
bottom.
They're going to go for Mango Rose because they got the Hawk. They scout the Monkey King out, trying to farm with the Battle Fury. A big kill Bob is able to claim, and that was really one of the few heroes on Atlantis that was getting a lot of farm. We saw him was posturing down bottom for quite some time, but finally Execration were able to kill the carry off Atlantis.
And they just immediately run back mid, right? They just want to stall out this Monkey King, make sure that he's not going to be as effective against the Wraith King. Speaking of him, he's just going to try and bully Wonder Boy away, but now you've got this creep wave pushing into mid. You've got the Ancient
lane.
Black Dragon, you've got the
Abaddon needs to
Beast.
step in. But he's already used the shield to the raw, plenty of controls. Vincenzo offers the damage with the life drain, and now the tower's going to be in trouble as well. There's not much Atlantis can do.
Yep. This is what you want, right? You don't want to go to that third lane that's just going to refresh the glyph. You want to take as much advantage of the fact that it's very easy to push into this lane as it is right now. Still 3 minutes left on the fortification cooldown, so I really wouldn't be surprised, even though it's only the first Aegis, that maybe you wait until the next Elder Dragon form, but in 40 seconds, you look to go up onto that high ground. Try and get the BKB on the DK by that stage, and just look to choke off the areas of the map that Atlantis are able to farm.
They're going to try and protect the triangle from Atlantis. Execration grouped us 4 at the moment. In the river, they do see WS with the Observer Ward. It's only Bob for the moment. Shanks a little bit too late to be able to connect with the arrows, so they're going to turn back for Tino instead. WS has the follow-up with the sharpshooter from downtown as Atlantis able to at least find a kill. It's taken them quite some time to be able to get their 5th kill of the game, but Wonderboy is up to a killing spree now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just highlights the importance of the vision, right? Up until now, Execration were able to play around that Hawk so much. Gonna try and go onto Ponyo here, at least popping the
WS actually going to think about taking the fight as well. Jumps in with the arena. They don't have the sharpshooter for the burst, but Mango Rose is going to show up with the Wukong's command getting laid down. Bob doesn't give a damn about the damage of the Dragon Knight. Way too tanky. And even Palos, he's wanting to move on over. They're going to be cautious on Atlantis, pathing their way back to the northern side. The Wraith Fire Blast, not a long enough stun duration to set up for the arrow, but they're going to turn to WS instead as the Mars trying to cut through the tree line, but Execration will block off the escape avenue.
Osset actually microed his career so that the blink dagger that was on it wasn't being delivered to him in the middle of the team fight. He wanted that instant surprise blink to be
Bottom
able
lane,
to
look at this.
gap close, but
Tino. He's got the axes. Oh, he's got the vision thanks to the Hawk. Ponyo's going to try and TP down to offer the assist, and the arrow just going to be off the mark. He tried to TP, but no, the hurling boulder. Oh, the mud golem cancels the TP. There's nothing Mango Rose can do. He's going to be forced to stand his ground. Maybe actually can retreat away. The bushwhack giving him some time and space. He goes back in, down to the south. The arrow just short. Mango Rose will live, but the rest of Atlantis, I can't say the same fate. There's Ponyo along with Ayad. I mean, you put your bodies on the line. You keep the Monkey King alive, but it does come at a cost.
Dire's middle tower
you
is
can
under
just see
attack.
Palos feels supremely confident farming between a tier 1 and a 2 tower, completely isolated away from the rest of his team, but that's just the advantages that they've got. 11k net worth, 20 minutes in. It's exactly how Execration want to play. Actually, I don't want to say exactly how they want to play. Like I was saying before, with this first Aegis, they probably would have, in an ideal world, wanted to be sieging that high ground if possible. But with a lot of the movements coming up from Atlantis, they are still falling further and further behind, but at least it's not these super creeps that you're going to have to deal with. Not yet, at least. Maybe you get another 4 or 5 minutes left of respite. And this is where Mango Rose is forced to farm, right? He can't farm on his side of the map because Execration just have complete control over that, so he's going to try and cut the wave and farm on the Radiant side as much as possible.
A kill into the hood. There you go. One more right click. Just see an easy setup. Dragon Tail into arrow, and now high ground's going to be in a bit of trouble.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Oh, another jump in, actually. They're going to try and turn to WS. They saw the Abaddon's positioning.
Dire's middle
So no, the defensive shield was not going to be a factor as Execration find a second.
Actually use the glyph offensively, not sure if they even needed to, but yep, here we go. This is just the full ball up and push strategy.
Dire's middle barracks.
Granite Golem providing them the extra. They've also got the Pugner buffing them up with the Wraith Pack, so he went up going for it.
Bob, onto the hoodwink. Where's the Abaddon?
Tower is under
Oh, Ponyo wasn't able to get in range for the shield. And now Palace is looking to fall up as well. Instantly jumps, forces out the borrowed time.
Dire's top barracks.
Go Rose. Gonna be a little trouble. It's an early BKB pop from Bob, but shield on cooldown. They're gonna turn to the Ember Spirit as Execration swarming under the tier 4 towers. Mango Rose gonna try and protect himself. It's a really good arena. WS, but where's the damage of Wraith Pact? Off to the northern side, mitigating all the damage that Atlantis are dishing out, but Execration, they've got to get out, and they will not be able to. Shanks killed off along with another 2, but it comes at a cost as Atlantis force out multiple buybacks.
Multiple buybacks and still the melee racks. You know, they weren't able to get the full lane, but yeah, it just shows Execration maybe getting a little bit too confident. Of course, the game's gone very well for them so far, but even that just shows the disadvantages of potentially diving for those tier 4s.
Does show?
Feels like it's going to be a hard road for Atlantis to be able to come back from this one.
Yeah, we definitely. I mean, we do see, though, some of the combos that can come out. Almost an exceptional arena from WS, just on the outskirts of that Wukong. So if you find some items, it's going to take quite some time for that combo really to be more scary. As Palos, almost 2 hits Ponyo down, and Bob should be able to jump in and
Radiant's bottom tower
complete
is
the
under
chase. So the Abaddon
Dire's turret has
running
been
forward to the secret shot, but they know there's no real way he can escape this. Blink's going to be back up shortly. They're losing vision for the moment, but oh my god. Palos, stop it.
It's just not fair. He's just completely bullying away this poor Abaddon.
Radiant's bottom tower
The
is
10
under attack.
charges into the Desolator as well. It's just going to get worse and worse. Do you think Shanks is just having a little bit of fun with this one? He bought the shard.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't know what the heck this shard does.
Maybe it's just so that he can farm a wave without having to use the arrow and the Starstorm in combination. You can just Starstorm and then leap for the damage in front of the Mirana. That's all I can think about.
Are they... They're really close to closing the distance on the Ember's net worth, which is... Oh, gonna force some reactions. Very close to getting the spear back to the T3 tower. Nice sidestep from Bob.
Who has the Ag Scepter, by the way. 24 minutes in.
Bob
You
and...
see the... It was in the NA DPC, Nouns, Gunner playing it. He went this Manta-style build on the Dragon Knight. Have you seen that one yet?
I did not see it.
So once you got the Elder Dragon form, each of those Manta illusions can essentially act as a roaming high ground ward, just because you have the capability of being able to... Like, they still have the Agadim
Vincenzo?
walking.
Gonna smoke out the spear kill. Nothing crazy. They won't find anyone else. Double smoke. Okay.
They really want to get more.
Bob's a bit split
He's
from the
playing around his vision.
team. He's gonna jump. They see the Monkey King. They cut down the tree as well. Ponyo has the shield to BKB, but the threat of the Wukong's command, they haven't used it to the last second. Bob is gonna try and man fight through this, but the bonus armor should be enough for Mango Rose to win the man fight. But now with Palos showing up, Atlantis, I don't think you can deal with the Wraith King. Couple of hits. Almost brings down WS. Okay. The speed to reposition. Meanwhile, Hoodwink finds a Mirana as well, but Palos trying to close the distance. WS a blink to the low ground, and he will be able to TP out.
I'll take that.
Doing a pretty good job of delaying this, I have to say. It's just all about playing around that vision, right? Just giving any kind of small advantages that they can, but it really does require them to just all-in focus onto one hero, and you just saw how long it took, allowing Palos to waddle his way through. Nearly 2 hits, Wonder Boy there. I mean, sure, your Silver Edge here, just to be able to instantly take out that Abaddon. Already got the DK looking to build into the AC for himself.
You were speaking about the Manta Elder Dragon form?
Yeah, I mean, you could just use it and pop the illusions up onto the high ground, right? Because you've got, they've got the free pathing, so that's just a nice way. They've also all have the the corrosive breath, so you can just use those as a pretty easy way to safely siege towers. Quite a nice item.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Execration, second Aegis into the hands. Tino's actually going to be the one to hold the Aegis. I didn't see... Alright, Palace has the shard as well. Double smoke. They see the Monkey King flying through the trees with this higher ground ward. Uh-oh, Mango Rose. Not a spot you want to be. Bob's going to jump in. The Fireball in their close proximity. Atlantis, they got to get out. You cannot take the fight. Ember brought down at the start. Now they're even going to find Ponyo next. Execration. We were speaking a lot about the vision and how it can set up their fights perfectly, and well, that fight was all off the back of the ward.
Bob's just looking for more, maybe trying to cut off someone that is trying to
Rose, they saw
cut
him.
the wave, but
The Hawk, he gets the Wukongs out. At least the bonus armor's going to do nothing. Oh no. Mango Rose goes down without being able to pop the BKB. Now the last full set of barracks are going to be in trouble.
it's just way too much. It's just pure strength in numbers, and they haven't addressed this in a big factor.
GG.
Right? Abaddon can't really do anything, and yeah, GG's called 28 minutes in. Pretty clinical by Execration. Nothing crazy. Just doing the right things at the right time.
Dire's middle tower.
Definitely felt like... I mean, we saw the lanes very... do I want to say very Execration favored? They were Execration favored. But just felt like... with how it came down to it in the end, Execration always having this vision advantage made it very difficult. Atlantis, whatever plays they were looking to make, whether you were just, farming on the opposite side of the map or trying to start a smoke or, playing around a high ground, it always felt like Execration knew exactly where you were, and it just meant that they really couldn't get a fight on their own terms.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a big part of it was Bob, of course. He did almost double the damage of the next closest person on the team. He had a crazy amount of kill involvements, 19 out of the 25. Only died the twice and just completely wrecked his lanes. So we know Bob, if he's able to pop off, then he really just straight up can carry the team. You got to take the good with the bad, though. There can be times where, goes for that little bit of an extra dive and can end up looking a little bit silly. So maybe that's the plan for Atlantis. Lull him into a false sense of security, give him the first game win, and then look to try and tilt him from beyond there. But we'll see. It was a very convincing win by Execration, and if I was a gambling man, I would be putting my money on them moving forward.
Yeah. We did see as well, I mean, the first series to kick us off, it was Summit versus TNC, and of course the Open Qualified team was able to take that series. So for Atlantis, I mean, like you said, lull them into a false sense of security, then come back, and then all of a sudden you take game two, some momentum on your side, and who knows what can happen from there. But we will all find out after the break.